That's what's happening to me, Papa Son, the #1 father-son podcast in America, in the world. Shout out to our family over at Blazing 420 WPAM on iHeartRadio. If y'all haven't caught us, you better stop fucking around, stop bullshitting. Get your ass up in there and catch us on iHeartRadio. And soon, that is where you're really going to have to see it. Cause I'm sick and tired of motherfucking Instagram and they fuckery. That's for sure. I am sick of them.
What happened with you?
What you mean?
What they do?
I mean, bro, they definitely got us on a shadow ban, bro. Ain't no way in the world, bro. Ain't no way in the world, bro. Ain't no way in the world that people, are not being alerted right now that we on here. Niggas is being alerted. So how come, come on. Come on, man. Niggas tap into bullshit, dumb shit all day long. C03, what's good? Straight Vape Shorty. What's happening, Straight Vape Shorty? Thanks for tapping the We Papa Son. Have a story for you, been holding on for 20 years. Is that right, Michael Colombo? You want to hit me in the DM so I can follow up with you? Okay, Michael. Shoot me the DM, and I'll make an effort not to forget to check. Because my man sent me a DM. I told him to send me a DM. My man, Spit Ain't. I told him to send me a DM, send me his number a week ago. I just checked this now and called him and talked to him and shit. But I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot. I'm trying to keep track.
DMs you ain't checked. And then it's like, beyond the regular DMs, it's like a hidden DMs for people that you don't really follow back. That you got to go. It be all types of shit in there. And people, it be important messages too. You be like, God damn.
Bro, I don't like going in and checking them because my need to be thorough will cause me to be in there. Now I got to check each and every one. And it's dozens and dozens of them. Dozens and dozens of the motherfuckers. So I could get caught up like a motherfucker. And so I got a few things from Tuesday's show I want to address. So as soon as you let me know when you're ready. I guess when I see your headphones on, I know you're ready to really get down like that. Yeah, it's an echo in here or something. I don't know what's happening. What up, Tom? Where you at, T? Where you at, Double T? Street Dreams. That original DC flavor. What's good? Shout out to my niggas in DC, my real ones. You know what I mean? Remember places like Crystals, we used to go roller skating and shit, or Chapters, or Level 3s, or DC motherfucking Live, or bruh. I used to club hop like crazy in DC back in the 80s and into the 90s too. DC was a different place back then though. It was really not for the faint at heart. Like if you built a certain way, you need to keep your ass inside. Keep your ass inside. The wolves is out, nigga. You dig? But if you can handle it, if you can deal with it, it was some shit. You know what I mean?
A lot of stuff to give away to niggas. You can get outside.
Yeah, exactly. You want to do
I got more shit. I ain't worried about that.
Exactly. Yeah, nigga. Come back next week, nigga. You got something fresh. I'm gonna wear the shit out of this though. Yeah, but I got a few things I must address as it relates to the show on Tuesday, right? First and foremost, I must officially apologize for what I said or implied about 21 Savage, because I actually watched that interview he did with Big Bank Black. And I do, like I said, I remember when, who was it that Ruggo introduced me to 21. And we had an instant connect, I had on my Don Diva piece, right? And the chain is a long chain. So sit down right at my sternum. And we was talking and shit. We out there in front of where the old Copper Cove used to be, over there in Buckhead or Far Road, right? And he said, "Damn, OG, I know you from the old school." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because your chain, hey, low." Right? And I looked around. I was like, "Oh, word! Everybody chain is like a choker type chain, right?" Which, of course, we went through all of that shit back in the fucking 80s, like, early 80s and shit. We was wearing herringbones and certain chains that we weren't close, even rope chains, like not them big dookie, empty, hollow 10-carat bullshit rope chains, not that bullshit, but like, real chains. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I took my chain, I drew it up, put a knot in the back, dropped the extra chain in my back, and now my shit was right around my neck. I was like, there you go, my nigga. And I'll see you in, 7 months when we back to long chains again. So on that video, in that interview, I see his chain hang low. So yeah, nigga, welcome back, young nigga. But, I had said something about him being rappers in general, and he kind of caught it straight because I was talking about rappers in general not being a good source of information that anybody should be following. Rappers are not there to inform you or educate you. There was a time when it was being used that way, but that time was long before rappers got access to radio, rap music got access to radio, right? As soon as it became that, then of course those people had to take control of the narrative, obviously, because you can't have, this energy, this angst, this youthful, rebellious energy going undirected. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have, X-Clan and Public Enemy and all these types of people, pushing these alternative to self-destructive narratives, and you have no idea how this is going to impact your bottom line as or a white male supremacist ideology or whatever, right? Can't have these niggas waking the fuck up or whatever. So since that time, rappers have become less and less and less of a reliable source of information or somebody you should pay attention to. And that was my point. He just happened to be kind of like the center of that particular conversation because you brought up the interview, but he himself is he's a very, like I said Tuesday, he's a very intelligent young man. He's an exceptionally intelligent young man. As far as it relates to him being from the UK, yeah, he's from the UK, but I did some research. He came here when he was 7, okay, and went straight to the hood. So I implied that he was essentially posing. That was what I implied. I didn't say it, but that's what I implied. That he was posing. He was posing as an American, nigga from the hood or whatever have you. And the bottom line is he came into a time and a place at a point in his life where he did come into his conscious awareness of self and his identity under the circumstances that anybody else in the place he moved to came up under. So if they were inclined to develop a street nigga, I'm a street nigga mentality or whatever, then he would be as well, regardless of where he was born. You understand? Yeah. So, I'm not invalidating his credibility as a street dude. And if you listen to his conversation, it's pretty obvious that he really has been in the street doing whatever his generation does and their version of the streets, whatever, right? He admitted things like, nigga, there was no money. It wasn't about no money and nothing like that. He admitted that, he admitted that by the time he understands by the time he came along, there wasn't no real money in the street like that. Not for real, not worth the trouble, not worth the risk. That definitely wasn't there. And he understood that and he expressed that, I take that back about, him not being a valid cat to get, any type of real street insight from, because he's an intelligent person who has lived and experienced the hood here in America. So he is a valid person, as he demonstrated in that 3-hour-long interview, who can communicate some viable shit about that existence, especially in contemporary times, right? Especially for now. You know what I'm saying? Because what he speaks to is what's the mindset and condition of the streets now, regardless of how it started and, what it was prior. He doesn't know anything about that. And most of his generation don't know about that, but he speaks very knowledgeably about what the current ethos of the streets are now. No doubt about that. He spoke eloquently. I like the way he pushed back on some of the questions and the responses to the questions that Big Bank gave him. And he stood, not only did he stand firm in his position, but he also, he articulated himself in a way where it's like, you get it. You get why he stands where he stands. It's not, this is why I stand, who I am, that's what it is, and that's all to it. And this is my story, I'm sticking to it. It was like, he articulated himself. and made his points. He made his points and shit. So I think I got that shit about him being under Dr. York, and there's no evidence I could find online anywhere about him being part of the Nuwapian Nation. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm saying that there's nothing that I found. And he was asked about that guy. I can't remember his name. Super lyrical cat, rap his ass off. Says a lot of logical shit.
Brother or something.
He says he doesn't know him. It didn't look like he was really serious, like I don't know him. But it sounded like he was disparate, like he was like, that's how I'm treating him. Like, I don't even know. I'm going to invalidate him by saying, I don't even know him. That would make people go, well, wait a minute. He said he don't even know him. He's not even acknowledging he knows him. So whatever he got to say about 21 is probably not even valid, because according to 21, he's claiming he know him. He's claiming they grew up together. He's claiming that he was up under Dr. York and the Nuwapian Nation, whatever. But Savage is saying, I don't even know him. I don't know him. So that's a way of undermining whatever his intent is by coming at not just Savage, but a bunch of other people. But his attack on Savage, if you can call it an attack, is very personal. And he puts it across like, this is what it is. Like, I know him. This is who he really is type shit, whatever. And I think I might have been peripherally influenced by that, So because I listened to the interview, I was like, where did I get that from? And I had to do my research, and I realized I got it from that guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely, Shorty got a lot of sense, man. He got a lot of sense. Did you watch it? Did you watch it this entire?
No, I didn't watch it.
It's good.
Watch it.
It's good. It's a worthwhile interview to watch. So I also take back to some degree what I said about the 1.2 million, what I inferred about the 1.2 million people who had viewed it up until that point. And when I said, like, basically, this is the Legion of Dumb, right? And it's like, if you're an intelligent person who never heard of him and you happen to come across that video, you're not going to be like, who is this dumbass nigga? I listen to the dumbass nigga. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh, shit.
He presents well. He's speaking well. He knows how to articulate himself.
Very even, very cool, like didn't, do rapper type shit, just go into a bunch of extra theatrics and all that, whatever. He's real normal, very, very normal, And so, yeah, it was dope, man. Bank had his hands full, he had his hands full with that shit, because the young man is a reflective listener. So he'll listen to what you say, and then he'll turn around and say it back to you. So, one, hear what you said, and two, how you actually fucking sound, and what a person might take away from what you said, as opposed to what it is you might have intended for them to take away. Like, did you hear what you just said? I think at one point he said, did you hear what you just said? No, he said, do you listen to the things you say? This is early on in the interview. I was like, God damn, short shot him in the foot. He said, you listen to the shit you say? That's some shit that a older person says to a younger person. You know what I mean? But yeah, you got to check it out. I think my favorite part was when 21 said, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, I may rap like I'm a crash out, but he said, in real life, I'm handling actual corporate business, and this is something we talk about all the time, right? Motherfucker be rapping, telling you, bang, bang, shoot 'em up, get high, pop a pill, drink some motherfucking cup of syrup and all that, whatever. But I ain't doing that shit. I'm talking to y'all. I'm making this music for y'all. This type of shit y'all like to listen to while you destroy your lives and ruin your lives. I can't do that shit. I got business to take care of. But my mama got 2 mansions and they paid for it. That's a direct quote from him in the interview, And I appreciate that. He's being honest, because he's influenced a lot of young people. So I appreciate that he's keeping it 100. And he's showing them it's cool to have your wits about you. It's cool to be sharp, which is, that's the point. That's my point. You can definitely be a real one and a solid one and a stand-up one, for real, and be smart too. Be intelligent too. Be a thinker too. The fact that niggas think that there's some kind of correlation between being a gangster and being stupid is mind-boggling to me. How the fuck do you think gangsterism would have lasted as long as it has if it were based upon being stupid? Fuck that. That don't make no sense. Niggas don't be thinking, man.
Nah,
Niggas be
they don't.
believing things and don't be thinking about the shit they be
They
believing.
don't be thinking. They don't think about what they believe.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's fucking bad. But I think a lot of them inherited that shit from their parentage and their grandparentage,
Yeah.
from that religion shit. Because they didn't think about what they were believing, but they don't understand that their grandparents inherited that shit from a different perspective. It was about trying to survive in the psychotic situation, being subjugated by white supremacist psychopaths. So when they shoved the Bible in your face and said, this is the thing that if you assimilate this, if you bring this into your mind and make this all you're about, then I will trust you and I might even treat you better and stop harming you as much as I do. So when people brought into their bullshit Christianity game, it was out of survival, not out of actual belief. They taught their children to assimilate these ideas, not out of a dedication or a belief in what was being said. But if you don't go along with this, these vicious, animalistic psychopaths will dismember you because they're fucking inbred and crazy. You dig? So that's how, all these melanated people for the last, 180 years been Christians because of that. Not because they thought about what they believed and it made sense. For the most part. I inherited this from my grandparents. I inherited this from my people. I love them, so I love what they gave me. And they didn't have much else to give but this. So I'm really attached to it. Because they don't leave me anything else. They didn't leave me no property, they didn't leave me no home, they didn't leave me no education, they didn't leave me no nothing. All they left me was this religion. So that's the commonality. That's the thing we shared. We never had nothing in life together when they were here but this religion. So I hold on to that because it's my way of keeping a line to them. But people don't think about what they think about. And if that's been the practice as it has been for the past couple of 100 years, then it doesn't really matter what the belief is, whether it's a belief in the streets, a belief in the drug game, a belief in whatever it might be. If it's a belief that's not being put through some sort of system of validation to determine whether or not it is in fact valid or it serves you. It might be a great thing for some fucking body else, but have you assessed its value for you? Because if you haven't, then 9 times out of 10, whoever put it on you, it's benefiting them. It ain't benefiting you, Shawty. That ain't happening. That's not how it works. That's not how subjugation works. He talked about his parents being from the projects in the UK, and I've been in the hood in the UK. I've been to Brixton. I had homies in Brixton. That's why I used to record in Brixton. I'm, shooting shit down there. I was in Brixton, in the fucking hood. So that's the UK's version of Brooklyn. And I'm talking about East New York, Brooklyn. And I'm talking about East New York in 1982. If you know, you know. And he said his grandmother still living in the projects in the UK that they from. So it's not as though if you have not been through hood experiences in this country, you ain't been through hood experiences. There's hood experiences all over the place. All over the place. The difference is, in this country, the hood experience manifested itself into a multi-billion-dollar, multi-generational wealth-building, propagandizing machine called the hip-hop industry. That's what came out of the hood and the struggle and the ghetto here. That, not so much in other places. And if it does or it had been a result of the influences of what happened here. So that's the difference. That's the only real difference between coming up in the hood here. You got a whole culture enveloped around it. You have a whole soundtrack to go with being from the hood here. Not so much in other places. Not until they started picking up on the habits and behaviors and practices of the people from the hood here. It's like, oh, they making their shit look good. Yeah, fuck it. You got motherfuckers running around in shanty towns. And Akon used to make his runs to those places, They run around in shanty towns. I'm talking about places where, thousands of people in houses built with cardboard and pieces of wood and sheets of metal, all kinds of shit. And when he used to go through those places and share those videos, motherfuckers was wearing t-shirts that say Gucci on them. I mean, they'd be the Chinese knockoff joints you get from like the sidewalk in New York, whatever, and like the tourist bullshit. they Gucci and Adidas and like wearing brand name shit, and they don't have streets. There are no streets. There are literally no streets. The ground in their house that they sleep on in their shanty is the same ground that they go outside and walk on. This is what they dealing with, and because of hip hop and American culture, they turned their situation and their struggle into a source of expression. But that's the influence of American culture, And so that is why I feel like I needed to definitely clarify and apologize to the young brother whom I didn't really mean to directly make him the face of rappers ain't about shit. 21 Savage don't apply to him because he really is solid on some real shit. What else did I pick up from that joint? I mean, I still say that rappers in general are definitely not. There's got to be, and I think about this constantly, there's got to be another way to access the consciousness of our people, bro. It can't be that you have to resonate at the lowest possible vibration in order to get them to pay attention to what it is you have to say. We can't be, technically we could be, I mean, we have been being fucked over for several hundred years, but we can't be so fucked up and so far gone that we're beyond salvation.
My page jumped probably like 300 followers since I posted this video of this old dude fighting, getting beat up by this other dude. And every time I go back on my page, it's like another 20, 30 followers. And I be posting content all the time. But it's just like, what people gonna respond to is what people gonna respond to. And it generally be bullshit. Like I be at shows and tip everybody there. I go out the crowd, they see the crowd, funny, 20 likes. Nigga getting beat up at the gas station. I'm like, oh, nigga beat him up, and we laughing, and it's like 30,000 likes, 500 new followers. People like, yo, you funny, yo, this shit, like comments, just like, I don't know. So you gotta cater to people's interest in lowbrow shit. That's what the clips would be about. That's why people pull interest on their podcasts and in the things that they're doing. You see the clips and then everybody get mad and they be like, man, this nigga ignorant. Why would he say that? Then they go and watch and they see the whole conversation like you did. And it's like, nah, I have a different perspective because I actually listened to the full conversation. But the clip, it enticed me to do exactly what you needed to do as a person in the business of pushing content. So for the game and the business of it, I get it. For the overall impact and the chase for attention, I'm like, we fucked. Like, if this is the new currency, we fucked. Like, if the new currency is get some attention and then you could probably get some money, oh, nigga, it's a wrap. That's why you see niggas committing crimes and lie. Nigga pull up at a nigga house. Nigga, where you at? Nigga pull up at a nigga house and flash guns at the nigga house and they all on live. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You committed crimes on camera and then I'm seeing it because the shit went viral and now I'm seeing it because you done got so popular off of doing some shit. And it's like, you feeding, it's like you cutting off your own leg, but people are cheering like a motherfucker. They're like, yo, look, he's cutting off his own leg. You like, yeah, look, they screaming. It's like, nigga, bro, you gotta chill out. Like, you are fucking yourself over. Yeah, they cheering. And they throwing money too. Look, you got a bunch of money, but your leg is fucked up, nigga. You ain't got no leg. Like, Nigga like, I'll buy a new leg. Bitches like nigga with one leg. Like,
That's the new thing. Yo, how did that shit become popular? The one leg shit, like when did that start? Well, back in 2025, right? There was this one dude, this nigga went mad viral, bro. And this nigga like was like, yo, the more likes I get, the more viewers I get, I'm gonna keep sawing until this motherfucker come off. And after that, that nigga got on this show and that show, and niggas started giving him appearance money. He started doing walkthroughs. Niggas was giving him 20,000, 30,000 walkthrough. And, the nigga just blew up, started riding around in Hellcats and shit.
what
And
up,
that's what
leg?
happened.
It's my nigga leg.
Yeah. So now it's 10,000 new motherfuckers, with no legs running around because they heard that the nigga got rich cutting his leg off. All he had to do is cut his leg off? Shit, I'll cut my leg off not to be broke. Fuck it. It sounds ridiculous, but it is actually what we've been observing. We've been watching this happen.
I think we get social experiments by when they put shit out like, would you go on a dinner with this girl or would you take $100,000? And they'd be like, this is this is not really hard. But there's probably niggas that would take the date. The nigga like, nigga, I got 100,000. I'll take her. It's like, bro, you could still get her with another 100,000, nigga. Like that's like she's not unattainable, jackass.
Yeah, she's not unattainable, motherfucker. Like, I'm sure you will find that somebody else has already stuck their wick in it.
Yeah. And it didn't cost us. They ain't have 100,000. If you let women tell it, they tell you all the niggas with no money got the best dick. So what the fuck you thinking, nigga?
So, a little breaking the subject real quick. I think a lot of people, this will get the attentions of a lot of the people whom we're talking about. Trump signed an executive order directing agencies to move marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 under the Controlled Substance Act. This acknowledges medical use and makes research and some medical access easier, and it can ease certain tax and business burdens. The order does not legalize marijuana nationwide, does not make recreational use legal under federal law, and does not by itself change federal criminal penalties for simple possession. States where weed is legal stay legal under the state law, but marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, just in a less restrictive category. So for one, before y'all even start, Trump did not federally legalize weed. He just made it that a weed charge is not going to get you treated like you got caught with cocaine or heroin or meth, like hard drugs. That's not going to happen now, based on this. But yeah, so it chipped away at it, because as much sense as it makes to just make it federally legal, it's like if they were to suddenly do that, there would be a slew, I'm talking thousands and thousands of cases coming back into federal court, because now these people have to be released. They're being held for a crime that's no longer a crime. But what people don't know, and me as a criminologist, I'm aware of, is that there were people who were locked up for alcohol and a good source of information.
Yeah, that's why I was saying they should be leading the conversation on what is a snitch and what isn't a snitch when they don't know the history or what this notion comes from. They just expressing whatever the idea that they created in their head.
Yeah, and I mean that's literally like a culture of the blind leading the blind.
Yeah,
like I don't know shit, but follow me. Imagine putting an address in your navigation, and your navigation responds with, "I really don't know, but go to the corner, and make a left." It's like you wouldn't listen to that shit. You delete that app. Like, fuck out of here. I need a valid source. I need for whom I'm tapping into for this information to be qualified to give me the information.
Amen.
And that makes sense.
MapQuest.
But motherfuckers don't bother. They don't hold the people whom they allow to influence virtually their every thought, idea, and belief to the same standard.
People do this, people do that. Used to do that, or they still do that with like a Justin Bieber. Like I told my homegirl, he was like, "Why he always acting black?" I was like, "He went to high school on the east side of Atlanta. Like he moved to Atlanta when he was like 12, 13, and was doing music with Usher and went to school on the east side. Like he really an east side Atlanta nigga. Like how he moving with all the little white girls is. That's why when he was getting in trouble, he had a bunch of little niggas with him. Like that's who he comfortable around. He just is a little white kid. And because he looks like he do, y'all expect him to act or present a certain way or behave a certain way, and it's like you are who you are. Like who your people are is who your people are. Like you just want to move in that mindset and that energy.
Yeah, about that interaction, that conversation between 21 and Big Bang. It was some real shit. It was some real shit. Like it was a very necessary conversation. You know, there was a part they were talking about the streets. What happened to the streets? And Banks said, no, 21 said in response to that, he said, time happened to the streets. And this is a point that I've made many times in our conversations. Time happened to the streets, right? Change. Remember I spoke about change? Change in its consistency. The fact that nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same, ever. Everything is in motion constantly. The fact that things change so subtly, so little, in very small increments, very, very small increments, makes it very difficult for most people to pick on the fact that it's changed. But if you were in the kitchen a few minutes ago and you left out the kitchen and you go back in the kitchen, as far as you're concerned, everything is as it was unless somebody came and moved something. But somebody could have come and moved something and you wouldn't have really noticed it unless it was something large and they moved it from one very distinct place to another. This is happening constantly because as you're moving around in the world and you're coming into contact with objects in the world, people in the world, energy and attitudes in the world, and your contact is making those things change and shift in response to your contact, and thus changing how those things are impacting the things or people they come into contact with. The process of change is inextricable from existence. You can't remove it from existence. Now, what is important about being consciously aware of that all the time? It helps you to have more realistic expectations about the world and yourself in it. If, as so many people are, you're one of those people who thinks, I'll get out of high school, get a job, and work that job until I retire, and then retire and sit on my porch and, eat peanuts and watch sports. And that's life and that's everything, whatever. If you came up with that plan when you were 16 or were given that plan when you were 16, by the time 54 years pass, so much has fucking changed that the idea of you having or being able to do that is not even realistic anymore. I'm talking about right now. That's no longer really realistic. Why do you think there's some motherfuckers that retire at 70, 75 now or whatever? Because what you may have thought, what the people who are now turning 75 thought would be the circumstances that they would be dealing with when they were 25 has obviously drastically changed. But if you have not kept pace with the change and, you haven't looked up and looked around since you were 25 and said, well, I'm just going to get me a job and I'm going to work and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and then I'm going to retire and that's that. And then you look up and be like, what happened? That was over there and this was over there. And because that was like that, I could do this and now I no longer can. When did that happen? A little bit every day. No difference in a nigga being on the block. A little bit every day. Every day, a little bit changes. The nigga wasn't out here yesterday. Who that? You know? Oh, Shorty used to cop from us all the time. Why you copping from that guy? You know, all these little changes, they have impact on your individual experience in the world. These are things worth thinking about. Trey Oxendine said, I see an 80-year-old bagging groceries.
Where they let them do that at?
All over the country.
Shit.
All over the country.
I remember that was like a real little job side hustle
A kid.
for younger kids.
Yeah. Since I was a kid, kids used to do that. I never did that. When I was a kid in the 70s, kids were packing bags, carrying groceries, and shining shoes. Shoe shining was a big, you know, popular thing with kids who were, I'm talking about kids who were 5 and 6 years old, be outside shining shoes. Ain't no adult around or nothing. They just on a corner somewhere in Harlem and just shining shoes, you know. But yeah, Publix. Yeah, yeah. So dude asked him what happened, you know, what happened in the streets, and Shorty said, time. You know, things change. You know, every era has its drug, its popular drug. You know, he talked about heroin in the 70s and, you know, cocaine in the 80s and then crack, you know, how each generation has its own high-end drug, its own drug that, you know, is like the thing and it's got everybody going crazy, whatever. You know, we've gone through we're kind of like in the meth stage, you know what I'm saying? And of course, weed went through, you know, weed is come and gone. I don't know if weed has ever been as popular in any previous time that I'm apprised of as it has become over the past 20 years. And I know that has a lot to do with the fact that the main form of promotion and propaganda and selling, hip hop, starting with Redman, has perpetually pushed that component into the culture as like a key thing. Like, you can't be caught in the club without some weed. You know, you might not have a table, you might not have no bottles, whatever, but you better have some weed and it better smell good.
Nigga just
Especially in
described
Atlanta.
me. I don't drink, so I definitely
You
gonna
don't
have
drink.
some weed and it's gonna smell
Right.
good.
That's right. Niggas, Atlanta was so bad with it. If you pull out some weed and it's like an air pack.
Niggas kick you out the section.
Nigga kick out the section, bro.
Yo, you gotta
Nigga kick
go.
out the section. It's a bad look. Like, yo, you know, so and so was up at so and so's VIP the other night over there at Velvet Room, stinking the place up with some trash. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he tried to pass the joint, pass the blunt. Niggas just like, nah, I'm good. I don't even smoke. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if 2 Chainz tell you he don't smoke, something wrong with your weed, nigga. If Killer Mike say, I don't smoke, something wrong with your weed, nigga. Your weed ain't right, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But he spoke informed about that, about how the streets, almost like a social scientist, bro. You know, this is a young man who's been through things, but he's paid attention to what he's been through. He's thought about what he's been through. He's analyzed the outcomes and circumstances that he's experienced and witnessed. He's analyzed them to come to the conclusion or understanding about why that is, how that is. Because he was able to give answers in a way that a lot of rap cats, when they get asked these kinds of questions that go beyond who's on your album, who produced, who's the feature, who you beefing with. And he tried to draw them into stuff like that. But the average rapper, when they get asked questions beyond that limited space around them, they ain't got nothing to offer. So I definitely agreed with what he was saying about the streets. Like, they gave examples like, and I remember this was happening when I was still in the streets. Not frequently, but like, say I'm 15 years in, 14 years in, it's 1994. And I'm starting to see something that I wasn't seeing prior. Niggas are starting to say things that make you go, what? Fuck you get that from, niggas? An ounce is 28 grams all day. What you talking about? They be selling 23 gram, 20 gram ounces here. What the fuck is you talking about, bro? It's not the name of it. It's a measurement. It's a system of measurement. And that what? And how much? They use the example of weed. They say, yo, how much for the bag? Oh, the bag 21. Oh, okay. Well, give me 2 zips on it. They want you to give them 2 zips based upon the whole bag price.
Yeah.
I started seeing that in like 92, 3, 4. I started coming in where I have to like sit down and give a nigga education, like understand something. This is a very basic fucking thing. This is a very basic thing. If you're a nigga in the street, this is a very basic fucking thing. It was anyway. You would definitely understand that if you spend more money, you get more value. You spend less money, you get less value. This is a very basic thing. You even got to be a street person to understand that.
And
you kind of just have to kind of socialize to some degree to understand that.
You keep asking my numbers, I might just take your money and send you on your way.
And that's what that kind of is what resulted and became also part of the culture, which is basically that's a nigga who know taking advantage of a nigga who don't, because how dare you be out here and not know better, nigga? You about to find out what they mean when they say the game is to be sold, not told. That's what you about to find out right now. You've heard the expression like you've heard many other expressions. You just didn't have a fucking clue as to what it actually means. So you didn't even get the benefit from the wisdom of that insight because you never bothered to ask when you didn't understand, what does that mean exactly? What is it that you're trying to convey to me? What kind of information is it you want me to take away from this so that I could be less of a fucking burden out here in these streets? You know? You pay for what you don't know.
Somebody's telling you 21, and another dude like, man, give me 15. You're like, yeah.
And then he tried to beat me, man. Yeah, he tried to beat me. I did. He tried to beat you. He hit you over the head, shorty. I got you, man. I'm gonna knock 600 off that shit for you. And you so fucking dumb. You don't even understand the whole economics behind it. And the fact that unless this nigga's growing this shit out the ground himself, there is no room to take 600 off, my nigga. The markup ain't like that. It was at a point. It definitely was at a point, obviously. Getting them things for 19 and selling them for 4. You dig? And they get 10 of them. Shit. Nigga might take 200-300 off, you know what I mean? Knowing that's just going to give them more room to come back better, come back stronger. You build your customer up like that. You know what I mean? But these niggas want those types of considerations out the gate and did no real business with you. They want to come talk to you about bags, but then, buy zips. And there used to be, like 2 of them niggas and everybody else. Now it's, 20 of them niggas and it's like one nigga going, wait a minute, that's not how it goes. They're like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. We making it up as we go along. That's the streets. That's what happened to the streets. What I talk about all the time is what happened to the streets. A lack of insight of real street people. Not just niggas from the neighborhood who are desperate and mindless, but real street people passing on street etiquette and the proper processes in the street. The economical understandings, the social understandings, the hierarchical understandings. Know whom you approach and whom you don't. That kind of thing. Without those kinds of insights being passed on to the next generation, all they got was, I take this and I buy low and I sell high. And that's it. That's all they got. But at the point at which you got those kinds of people out there, you also have 10 million of those motherfuckers out there. So it's you got to know way more than just you buy it at one price and sell it at another price, because all the other motherfuckers that are around, they also have that same limited degree of insight. And you know what they're doing with that insight? Driving the fucking profit out of everything. He gonna sell it to you. He paid 900 for it, and he gonna sell it to you for 11. I'll sell it to you for a stack. Oh, he gonna sell it to you for a stack, and he paid 900 for it. I'm gonna sell it to you for 950. Oh, he gonna sell it to you for 950, and he paid 9 for it. I paid 9 for it. I'm gonna sell it to you for 925. And they think that is a good thing. not knowing that, well, if a nigga got it for you for $925 this time, you think he coming back to $1,100? In fact, he's not going to come back to you and try to spend no more money, no matter what
He
happens
going
with
to
your price.
everybody with that same bullshit.
Everybody with that bullshit. Now you done fucked up the whole goddamn ecosystem. See, remember the word ecosystem? That's an ecosystem. And these niggas have no concept. These basic concepts would make them better in the street if they had basic understandings, like holding a motherfucker who's giving you information to a standard that he needs to know what he's talking about, not just look good saying it. Holding motherfuckers to a standard that if you're going to be the person who's taking the leadership position, then you have to know how to get us from this state, this condition, to the state, the condition that we desire. You have to have a plan and understanding. It's not just, all right, we're going to jump out this window, and whoever don't die when we hit the ground, you the winner. You know, like, you have to understand ecosystems. These are basic understandings that are not particular to street. These are understandings that a person that's functioning in the world would and should know. An ecosystem, the interdependency of an ecosystem, right? So you have, say, using, all right, I'll use the street thing. You have a guy who is in a foreign country and he's growing the shit. And you have a guy in this country who is using the shit. What gets it from the guy who pulls it out the ground to the guy who puts it in his nose or his arms is the ecosystem. It's the drug dealer who goes to the farmer and has the farmer give him the product that he's pulling out the ground and charge him $400 for every keep. And then he goes and he deals with the policing systems and the law enforcement, and to get it from where he gets it to the place where it needs to be in order for it to now get on a plane or a boat to get somewhere else. The law enforcement he pays, that's part of the ecosystem. You can't get to the next point without going through this point. And then that transporter gets in his plane, his boat, and comes to wherever he's coming to and lands there. And then he has to be given a premium. So that $400 that initially was paid for the guy who got out the ground, now when he goes and deals with these cops, he's got to give them $200 for everyone. So now his cost is $600. $400 for the product, $200 for the facilitation of getting the product to the next point. When it gets to the next point, the pilot has to be paid per piece. And say he's getting, I'm just making up numbers. Say he's getting $150 for every joint. It's more like, $500 to $1,000 for each joint that he carries, right? So now that price, we'll say it's that. We'll say it's $1,000 for every joint he's flying. So now the guy who pulled it out of the ground, who charged $400 to the guy who took it to, the next point and had to pay $200 more to get it there. Now his cost went from $400, $200. Now that's $600. Now you give it to the plane guy. Now that's $1,600. Now the plane guy gets it over to here, and the person who picks it up over there is the person who's going to be dealing with the people here who get distributing it. They're the connect here. The connect here is going to pay, say, $9,000 for it, right? So now that product is $10,600, and then he gonna take it to a Meech, or a convertible bird, or anybody who wants to put themselves in a position where they're dealing with a bunch of random motherfuckers giving them a bunch of work they can send them to prison. Say, like, I ain't that nigga, which is why I did not go to prison. So I sell drugs to drug addicts. y'all can sell drugs to drug dealers all you want. I used to say that back then. I said, but when that nigga get busted, unlike a drug addict, he ain't gonna just go sit and dry out. He gonna sit and be like, I don't want to go to jail. I want to keep living the life I'm living. I got it from him. What a crackhead gonna say? What a doping gonna say? Yeah, I bought about 10, 15 bags from a nigga that worked for a nigga that worked for a nigga that worked for a nigga, and that's the nigga y'all asking about. I don't even know what you look like. I'm that nigga. So if you don't understand this ecosystem, you don't understand all the things that go into play. When it gets to Meech or Bert or whomever, who paid an additional 2,000, now it's 12.6. So where were we at? We were at 16, right? 16, I guess. You get it. And it's like, okay, now they putting the product out and it's now hits the street and it's 20,000 or whatever. That's all ecosystem. Now, when a nigga who is, buying a joint, 2 joints, 3 joints, whatever, when he gives it to his man and his man goes to the street with it, whatever, the people he dealing with don't have a clue about ecosystem and none of that kind of shit. They don't have no idea about the guy at the ground, the guy who got it from the guy on the ground, the guy who went to the police and all that shit, whatever, and gave it to the motherfucker who got on the plane, got the motherfucker on the other side, who picked it up and brought a bunch of them and put it into the hands of the motherfucker. They don't know nothing about none of that shit.
They don't even believe that nigga did that. They like, this nigga not that complex.
Right. They don't understand that he isn't that complex. The ecosystem. That's where the complexity comes in. The ecosystem. The ecosystem. You're just an end user. That's what you are. You're an end user. And end users are not usually concerned about all the processes that led up to them being able to have access to the thing that they're using at the end of the process. They don't give a fuck. That has become, and that's what, I was a little more elaborate, but that's essentially what 21 was saying. That you got these niggas in the street who don't understand enough about the street to be able to do business. They can't do business because all the factors impacting pricing and so forth, whatever, they don't know nothing about that shit. All they know is it's a number, and they think you just made that number up. They don't know that number is based upon all the things that happen in the ecosystem up to the point where you got it in your possession. It's not a random fucking number, man. I didn't just come up with it on top of my head. But when you're dealing with people who have no concept of that, you know what they say? That nigga tried to charge me $900 for the bag, son. He probably only paying $300 for it. There's only one fact in that statement. The fact of what the guy is charging you. All the rest of that statement is completely fucking made up random arbitrary shit. He's probably paying $300 for it. Based on what? You saying that based on what? That he's probably paying that. Why do you say that? How do you know what he's probably paying? You buy fucking a pound, 2 ounces or something like that. What the fuck would you know about what he's probably paying based on what? And this is what the streets have become proliferated with. Like 90% of niggas in the street are that nigga who have no idea what the pricing of a thing is based on. They think it's all preference. That's why they think they can say, you prefer to charge me this much. I prefer to go to somebody who's going to charge me that much. This ain't about your preferences, dickhead ass nigga. It's about your preferences, motherfucker. This is a whole bunch of shit that goes into this. You think niggas are shitting out these peas? What the fuck is wrong with you? That's why you can't do business with them. You can't do business with them. This in the streets, as I've said before, the streets were like one of the few things we had that enabled us to move past all of the blocks and the barriers that have been put into place by white supremacist system. And niggas have destroyed that. Now you don't even have that.
What's crazy is all the businesses that came out of that at that time in the beginning. Niggas had bowling and pool and laundry mats and charter schools. Niggas doing all types of shit. Now these niggas, they get with a random bitch. That bitch want to open a boutique or do some hair, do some shit that's not going to last. Like they not gonna last.
And it's almost impossible to scale up. Which niggas let me think about. But like, I'm sure there's 10,000 motherfuckers right now that scale up, scale up. It's a basic concept that you should be fucking familiar with if you're an adult at all. Unless you're just a motherfucker Joe Blow going to work every day flipping a burger or picking up a box or some shit like that, you know.
These niggas don't even open a barbershop no more.
I mean, yeah, I guess because they saturated the shit out of that. Besides, the Dominicans took that over. You can't find a black barbershop in New York to save your life. Shout out to my man on 130, between 130, 133rd and 134th on 8th Avenue on the Uptown side. Denny Mo, my man Denny Mo. What up, Denny? Like, Denny is like the only black barbershop left in New York. For real, it's all Dominicans, you know.
And
but
the Dominicans is killing. They got the Dominican barbershop where the girls come in there and they dance on you and massage you while you getting the barber,
what?
while they getting the cut. Man, you
Nigga,
gotta see
stop
it. They
lying.
viral. I'm dead
Stop
ass.
lying.
Nigga, I'm going. As soon as I go back, I'm in there. I'm in there. They
You can't
had
be serious.
Lamar Odom was in there. He done died and came back to life and went in there and got some hoes. Like that nigga, like that nigga, he's a legend. He's a legend.
This nigga said Lamar done died and came back to life.
Nigga had like 8 strokes and 3 heart attacks. That
I
nigga
know.
died and came back to life. That nigga said,
Yeah, because I kind of almost thought that he was dead. And shout out to Lamar. Shout out that's
Kobe
the home.
went
That's
to
that's the
Kobe
homie.
went
Yeah, that's the
to
homie.
the hospital when he was all fucked up. And imagine a nigga going there to see you and it's your man. He like, damn, my man about to die, and you died before him. After all of that, I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
That is nasty. That's nasty work. But life is like that, though, brother. Life is like that. Life is definitely like that, man. You know. Again, man. Shout out to Big Bang Black and 21 Savage. That was a mean piece, and I really was pleasantly surprised. Not really surprised, but kind of surprised because 21. I knew he was sharp. Witty, intelligent guy, whatever. And he represented, and I'm glad he did. We need that. We need more of that. We need more of that. And there was a lot of things I wanted to say about it, but y'all got the general gist of it. You know what I'm saying? You got the general gist of it. I like the way they had all these plaques, and they got billion streaming plaques, like multiple billion streaming plaques. They had all those plaques behind them, platinum plaques, and all that, whatever. I like the whole, dynamic, the way they set that whole thing up, or whatever. They represent, doing a really good job. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. I hope that there was some valuable takeaways from this interaction with my son and I, and of course, we want y'all to keep tapping in. We popping some. We're gonna keep bringing you this real thing, this real shit, something to think about, something to chew on, and yeah, it is what it is, man. This is We Poppin' Son, the #1 father and son podcast in the world. Shout out to our fam at Blazing 420 WPAM on iHeartRadio. That's where you catch us, the We Poppin' Son podcast combo show on that platform, whatever. Of course, you can go to the Cavario the Mind Plug YouTube channel. I'm back on my YouTube, and you can go check out episodes there as well. That's pretty much it, son. I'm done.
Yeah.
All right.
Stop trying to fuck up the price, dickheads.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Go sit your ass down some motherfucking where. Just dumb ass. I love you, son.
Too cheap. I be nervous. Nigga offered me, he like, I got 7s for $5. I was like, $5? I like, oh, he trying to fuck. This nigga, yeah, I don't, nigga, he trying to get some. Don't do that. I don't know. This Atlanta, I'm scared. Don't do that price too good. I think he nigga trying.
Oh Lord, have mercy. This nigga crazy. Some crazy trying to get stuff. Jesus Christ. And so fucked up that it is Atlanta.
Yeah, you got me nervous. Like, nigga, that price too good.
If you think it ain't like that's not a real thing, you'll fuck around and get got.
Girls. That's why
you fuck around and get got in Atlanta with that shit. Hey, I like, no, nigga ain't really trying to. Nigga ain't trying to fuck. You know,
nigga doing my move. What the fuck?
Yeah. Let me get off this motherfucker. But son, I love you.
Love you too.
It is, man. Remember, y'all, think critically so you may live wonderfully. Peace.